Celtic, always a Celtic. All right. I want to take a minute here and stress there is nothing normal about what happened last night at Paul Pierce's old haunting grounds, Boston Garden. One man reaching the NBA Finals for 7 straight years, 8 times overall, through different teams, coaches, different cities, different teammates. The only other time anyone did this in the NBA, it was the members of the Celtics dynasty in the 60s. And those guys had the benefit of each other to lean on. They had arguably the greatest coach of all time in Red Auerbach. And let's be honest, it was a totally different NBA back then. When that Boston group started their run of consecutive finals, there were only 8 teams in the entire league. So you can really say that this particular thing LeBron has done, no one has ever done it before in this way. And the havoc he's wreaked by doing it should not be underestimated either. Over the past 7 years, entire franchises have risen and fallen in the quest to topple him. Think about the Bulls, the Pacers, the Atlanta Hawks, who all got close-ish, only to see LeBron destroy them with a flick of the wrist. Think about all the years those teams spent, the hundreds of thousands of hours of planning and practices and workouts, the hundreds of millions of dollars building rosters, the hiring and firing of coaches and front office executives, all in vain. The man sitting to my left on set here, Paul Pierce, was part of the last team to really get in LeBron's way. But even the Celtics eventually stopped being able to, and Danny Ainge has clearly decided that going through LeBron has become so impossible, he's resisted a number of win-now trades to simply collect assets and wait until the day, finally, maybe comes when LeBron starts slowing down. So why is this important? Well, there's been a lot of talk the past couple days about whether it's fair to compare players so much. And of course it is. It is an essential part of sports. It is the reason we even bother to keep stats. But let's also remember that comparing doesn't mean we just decide who is better and who is worse. Comparing means we get to hold all these guys' careers up to the light and notice all the colors and textures that make them different from each other. And when LeBron's career gets held up to the light, this consistency, this absolute dominance he's had over the past 7 years should be one of the major things we talk about. It is not normal, and it is all his. Of course, the other big thing that happened last night was LeBron passing Michael Jordan to become the NBA's all-time leading scorer in the playoffs. And this comes back to the comparison thing, right, guys? I mean, I want to get into that more nuanced place, not just he's better, he's worse, that kind of thing, but the wrinkles. And unlike most people having these arguments, y'all actually played against both of these players. You are Hall of Fame level players who can tell me what you've got in the categories. We're going to break it down here. So our first one is, who is harder to guard? What do y'all think?
Michael Jordan.
MJ.
No question.
No question. Just his mentality alone. You know, he wanted to go out there and kill you every night. He put pressure on you every single time down court. LeBron, you know, he can do the same thing, but he sometimes prefers to pass the ball, rebound the ball, do other things to get his teammates involved. And that's what his team needed. Jordan needed to score each and every night, and he did it at will.
I think MJ is just more offensively skilled than LeBron. Mid-range, post work, I mean, his footwork on the post. I mean, he's got a variety of moves that, you know, he can hit you with on the offensive end, and both of them are really good defenders.
Yeah, I mean, the way he could score is just, as you said, tremendous. I do want to know who's tougher to get buckets on, though, on the other end. I want you to look at this chart we got going here. Here we go. Oh, no, that's the screaming chart. But there's more. Here we go.
If I had to choose one,
take a look at that.
I would say LeBron because of his size, 6'8", his athleticism, strength. I would take him. Mike being a little bit shorter, 6'6", be able to shoot over him. It'd be a little bit tougher with LeBron and his size and strength.
Well, you got to understand, when Jordan was at his dominance, he was probably the biggest two-guard in the league.
Right.
6'6", the most athletic. You know, you couldn't just back him down like other two guards say. So, you know, it's hard to really compare in that aspect because LeBron is bigger,
How
stronger.
often did MJ take you
Well,
How
I
often did he?
call MJ at the
tail end.
tail end. He came back for the Wizards,
Right.
and he was still a good defender.
So was he?
I think he's a smarter defender.
He was the.
than
I
LeBron.
covered that team. He was the best defender on that team.
He was the best defender on that team.
Listen,
that's a foul.
When
Jordan.
you're
Come on now.
MJ, when you're Kobe or LeBron, trust me, you get away with a lot of stuff on the defensive end.
Right. Well, okay. So who gets away? Who got away with more?
Oh man, I think
MJ for sure.
MJ. I think because of the rules,
Right.
you could grab a little more, hold, push, chuck into the lane a little bit more. So, I think MJ got away with a lot
I'm sure there
more.
have always been superstar calls in the NBA long before any of our time, but I feel like Michael Jordan.
We got some.
The Jordan rules superstar calls was at its height during his era. All right. This is a little bit of a tricky question. Who would you rather play with? This is so interesting. I want you to look at this stuff before you answer. Playoff assist percentage, LeBron's higher. Playoff usage percentage, so Michael either needs or has the ball more. But NBA titles.
Well, I got to take myself because I have a scorer's mentality, and I would have to go with LeBron, being that he elevates his teammates. And I know a lot of people say
Jordan just elevated his team.
No, listen what I'm saying though.
Whoa.
I think if you want to start a team, I'm going to go with LeBron because of him being able to take lesser talent and elevate those guys. What?
If you're starting a team,
I'm starting.
you're going with LeBron over Michael Jordan.
Wow.
I'm going with LeBron. Absolutely. I'm going to take LeBron James to
I
start my
can't-
team because of his pass first mentality, being able to elevate his team in terms of how their style of play. Mike is going out there trying to get 30 and 40 points. He's not looking to make his team better.
I'm trying to win, though. Jordan is
It's
a
hard to
winner.
win when
Jordan is a winner, period.
Let me ask you this.
College, pro. When the game is on the line, who do you want?
That's different. That's a different.
Well, that's who I want. That's who I want to
That is
play
a
with.
different
That's who
discussion.
I want to play with.
Now, let me ask you this. Kobe has that same mentality as Jordan, right?
Right.
You take that 2007 team that he took to the finals. You think Kobe will take them to the finals? Talking about LeBron.
We'll get to crunch time in a minute. We're not there yet. I want to ask you who you would rather play with,
said
and
LeBron
that's
because of
interesting
the
to me that you would
yes,
pick LeBron.
I'm
Who would you rather?
I'm going with Jordan.
You'd rather play with Jordan. How come?
Jordan is the greatest player to ever play the game. He demanded so much from his teammates. He may not have elevated his teammates with his passing, although he was a great passer. He elevated his teammates with his demeanor, with his attitude. You took on the personality of Michael Jordan when you were out
Indeed.
there. And it made the team a lot better. It was like, if Jordan's not going to take stuff, I'm not going to take anything. That in itself, in the attitude and demeanor, makes you a better
Take
team.
yourself, your personality, what you bring. You going to sit back and watch MJ, or you want to play with somebody that will defer
that's
to you at
interesting, 'cause
times?
yesterday
'Cause
we
he's
had-
not going to defer to you now.
Right.
I'm talking
Okay.
about that's somebody that is great in his own right, and he'll sit and let you do your own thing and won't hog the ball.
And if it's about winning, and I know Jordan is a superior talent than me,
P,
I have to
you better
watch
stop
the
it
greatest
right now.
show on
P,
earth.
You better stop it right now. I don't want to hear that. You ain't doing that, son.
Think about
you're
this.
not
Matt,
deferring.
you never really had a chance to have that great teammate, to where you just had a night where you didn't play well and you just sat there and saw somebody else be
I'm
special.
glad you pointed out because I did.
You did. I mean, and a lot of people know this. You had Yao, but he was a great center, but he wasn't that player that you could sit back
No,
and say,
you never
wow.
had a
Right.
KG.
He
You never
was
had that
special
level.
tonight. Man, I just saw him go off for 38, 10,
Yeah,
and
right,
14.
right.
And I had like about 12, 15. I mean, that's what Jordan was. It was like to be able to watch that, and then you're going to have your nights. He wasn't special every night. He had bad games with 30.
Rarely.
People call that a bad game. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, but here's an interesting thing, and this goes to Tracy's point. Scottie Pippen has been with us the last couple days, and a couple days ago we were talking about the clutch gene, and he sat here and said, I will admit it, I didn't have the clutch gene because I played with someone who took that from me. He said, I never got the chance to develop it because I was not allowed. There was no way on Michael Jordan's team you were allowed to be the one who took the last
Right,
shot.
and-
So Paul Pierce, Mr. I called game,
Yeah.
would you rather
And by the way,
play
that's
with the guy
all-time
who
classic,
put
right?
you in the position that he put Pippen in, or would you rather do the Tracy with Tracy?
Absolutely.
When you don't have to, listen, both of them are winners.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Both of them are winners. But I'm saying, your personality, what you bring to the
Okay.
team, you don't have to change who you are. If you're playing with LeBron, you don't have to change that.
Listen, how do we view Pippen as an all-time great? He didn't have the clutch gene. Okay, he had Michael Jordan. But Pippen is considered one of the top 30 players of all time.
50.
Not being top 50, okay. But not being a guy who you said will take my last shot. But he is one of the all-time greatest players, one of the all-time Robins that this game has ever seen.
Right.
Who wouldn't be happy with that?
Well, this goes to, okay.
And
so this,
you played next to somebody who's considered the greatest of all time.
P? No.
I would not be happy being a Robin. Who would you trust more with the ball in crunch time? I know who your answer is going to be for that.
This is no-brainer.
This is MJ.
Right?
He's done it too many times. He's not afraid of the moment. This is what he lived for, to have that ball in crunch time.
Can you guys, hey, by the way, that percentage up there was crazy just now. 50%?
50%.
That's, I mean, come on.
Jordan is the ultimate.
Game-tying or go-ahead shots in the final 24 seconds of the fourth quarter of overtime. MJ was 50%, 9 of 18.
As a kid, this is what I remember as a kid. I just knew when the game was on the line, Jordan is going to bring it home, whether it be at the free throw line, a jumper, or the right pass. You knew Jordan was going to make the right play every single time. LeBron has had other people to bail him out. Kyrie, for instance,
Wait a minute.
last year.
I would not call it bailing him out.
That's bailout. Kyrie brought.
Bailout.
Kyrie had the ball in his hands the last possession the whole time.
Let me ask you
Did
this.
Steve Kerr ever hit a game-winning shot?
Let me ask you
Yes,
this, though.
Steve Kerr did, but
Did
it
that
had.
bail
but it-
Michael out?
Jordan passed it to him.
Who passed
How many
Kyrie the
game
ball?
winners? How many
Kyrie
assists?
brought it.
How many assists does LeBron have for game winners?
No, he doesn't have that many.
Okay, Jordan passed out of necessity. He passed to Craig Hodges. He passed to Steve Kerr, to Paxson in the finals, out of necessity. LeBron will come down and say, "Go ahead, Kyrie."
But that's not
Bring
a
us home."
bailout. I think as
You're-
T-Mac says, he
if we're
plays in
comparing
he is a player.
Jordan
What do you
and
call
LeBron-
I think he doesn't have that mentality. Now, let
Okay,
me
It's
there
more
you
of the
go.
magic
There you go.
mentality.
he doesn't have that mentality. But let me ask you, who's a better offensive player out of Kyrie and LeBron? Who would you want taking that shot? If you're on that team, because
Kyrie.
Exactly.
Okay.
So Bron being who he is,
Smart.
being smart, knowing that this guy right here give us a better chance of hitting this
But
shot.
I'm the greatest player on the planet. If I'm the greatest player on the planet, why don't I take the
Okay.
shot and make it?
I want to ask you.
I have that mentality. You have that mentality. That's not Bron.
Okay, let me ask you a completely separate question. And this is my favorite question of the entire segment. Who would you rather hang with off the court?
No-brainer, Jordan.
MJ.
Cigars, good company, wine.
Great company.
Oh my
Man,
goodness.
stars on
Jordan,
stars.
stars over stars. Oh no, I'm not getting on the banana. I'm not getting on the banana boat with LeBron. Sorry.
Nah.
Sorry. Look
Nah.
at this. Look, he got Tiger Woods. Oh my. Come
LeBron's
on.
got the wine collection.
Man, listen.
He's in movies.
Jordan is a no-brainer.
I want to hang with Jordan. Listen, man, I was with Jordan at a boxing match one time. I betted him on a boxing match, and I beat him that night. He had a bag full of money. Handed me my money that night. I was so nervous
Were you?
about losing that night because I didn't have that type of money
Right,
that I
right,
betted him. And he gave it to me that night. So yes, I want to hang
So
with
he just
MJ.
had it on it. He had it on his person. What's your best hanging with MJ story?
Oh man, I never had a chance to. Oh,
You
I
didn't have
actually
a bag
did.
of money?
I actually did. I had a chance to see Jordan in the Bellagio. The year we won the championship, we were
Ooh.
partying at the Bellagio. He was in the VIP right next
Of
to me.
course he was. Just raking it in. Yeah, later in the show, we can discuss what his buddy Charles Barkley bet on the Stanley Cup Finals
Hey,
last
and he had
night.
Oakley
and
with him
did
when I
not
bet
win.
too.
Anyway, last but certainly not least, who would you rather posterize? Who would you rather have? Now, a
Easy.
couple of days ago, you admitted, Tracy, you went out of your way to dunk on defenders. We also got to see some of Paul's best dunk faces here.
Ooh, MC.
Paul, I want to know, you go first. Who would you rather be your victim?
I'm gonna say Jordan. I mean,
Okay.
Jordan has so many posters. I had 3 of them in my house
Yeah.
when I was in high school, and it was just like he dunked on every center, he dunked on every guard. LeBron does the same too, but Jordan's posters was a lot nastier. Oh man.
The tongues
I
involved.
gotta go with LeBron.
Okay.
For me, dunking on the bigger guy is what's
Oh
exciting.
man, is that LeBron?
That I want.
Oh,
I want.
man, that's gotta be a meme. That's gotta be a meme.
Big physical specimen. I want Bron. Always a bigger guy.
I just feel like Jordan dunked on so many people that you just want to get them back somehow.
Bron too.
LeBron too. I mean,
We're going to
you
blow
know,
that
but
photo up as a poster.
I don't know.
I think.
I need to put that on my wall. Sorry, Brian. They did that.
Really good. All right, we have to take a quick break. You know this discussion will continue during the commercial, but when we return, we will discuss Chris Paul's next move.